And that actually works very well. From project management perspective, there will be a lot of surprises. There will be some pushbacks, so just be aware of how it works out in your organization. But this is just no surprises here, but really there will be some pushbacks as we go through the process. From developers, so this was very interesting. We actually realized when we were halfway through a project that a lot of places it was hard-coded that the user needed to be a sysadmin. Big surprise. So we actually had to, that's one of the reasons why it took us so long, and that's why I'm emphasizing that from our experience we learned, do it early on, make sure that some of these things are not done. There's some quality control built in the code itself. So great guys, awesome programs, but please don't hard code sysadmin profile in your code. So that was a big surprise for us. And with this, I'm basically going to open it up for any Q&A, any questions that come up.
So we have about 4 or 5 minutes.
We need a microphone.
Imran, here is a mic.
I think you need to turn it on. Why don't you ask a question and see if you can repeat it?
All right, this one.
I have a question about how you handle user access requests when it comes to like a larger company and permission sets. You know, because when you give instructions for that department to how they set people up in Salesforce, do you have any comments on that?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is a great question. So the question, let me repeat it real quick. So how do we handle user requests? So there are, again, so many different groups who come to the sysadmins who actually need to perform the action, but before they perform the action, it goes through a vetting process. Again, back to our process, we have predefined certain places where if somebody comes from a marketing user, legal user, sales user, whatever it is, we actually look at what's their job profile, what actions they need to perform in the system, and based on that, we have some predefined permission sets that we can leverage.
Okay, so it's about whatever you give to that department. Say, you used to use this profile, now use these permission sets? Or?
Absolutely. And we also have external users, so it's always a little bit of a push and pull to make sure that they're getting, the key is we want to make sure that we want to put guardrails, but we want to ensure that they are successful in their day-to-day jobs. So we want to make sure that what works for them, and there are always new things that we discover in this process. So new things are discovered, but we do have a process where we follow. And if ultimately the sysadmins have the authority to change or create any new users. For terminating employees, there's another group that has the privileges to terminate employees.
Do you use delegate admin?
We don't.
I just have one point there. I don't know if for the admins in the room, if you've looked at the Salesforce A mobile app. So I actually saw this morning that you can control permission sets on the mobile app, which is pretty nice if you haven't seen that.
It's just an evolving thing. I mean, there's a lot of things that's coming our ways, and we started this process when even permission sets were pretty new. So very quick, a couple other questions, and then we'll be around. We can talk a little later.
So in addition to just like standard standard and custom objects, have you guys thought about extending your tool to I don't know, like look at things like view all data or view all forecasts or those kind of permissions? Those could be like a big security hole in terms of, you know, if you have profiles lying around that just, you know, have that and don't realize when profiles were created. So getting rid of those when you convert those into permission sets. Have you guys looked into that?
Yeah, absolutely. So let me just repeat the question for a larger audience. So do we have certain things, any controls for making sure that not everyone has read all data, for example, or anything like that? So our tool in the next phase is actually going to be comparing different things, and it would be looking at where the high-risk areas are, and that's definitely a high-risk area. There is a certain group who needs it. Marketing needs read-only access to almost every object, but when we drill down to the next level, we realize there's only so much that they really need. So that all is very relative, and we want to make sure that that all is what they need so they can perform their actions. But at the same time, that all doesn't mean that they are looking at the environment and the things which we don't want to give it to them. So yeah, you're right. There is a lot of analysis that's needed. There's no perfection yet, but at least we've taken care of 80% of the big problems. A couple other questions?
Yeah. Have you implemented data classification to actually pinpoint where your most sensitive data is, or so you can actually enforce and audit that all these profiles and permission sets are doing what they're supposed to be doing, which is protecting your crown jewels?
We do, but there's a different group who does that. We work with them. So we wanted to make sure that the task of this project was to reduce the number of profiles and have permission sets that are reusable. But how they are used, whom they are handed over to for consumption, is something that some other groups also control. Sure.
Just curious, so how many permission sets are you now managing, and is there a particular way you're organizing them?
Absolutely. We can actually have another session on that. So, yes, I think the challenge that you're bringing up is, are we propagating from roles into permission sets? And there is a lot that can be done. There are ways. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our tool to the next level, and essentially next time we have a new user coming on, they would just define what their role is, what objects they need to hit, and the system will then propose which permission sets already exist. So that will help us manage it. And again, it's just a filtration process. You don't have to build a tool. You can use anything you need, but there is a way you can control it. It's not about the number. It's really what's important is, are they able to perform the job?
Right. What was that tool that you were using for the profiling?
It's something that we built, and again, it's just a filtration mechanism. That's all. So you can do it in SQL, you can do it in Access, you can do it in Excel sheets, anything that you want. We use the metadata API to extract the data from sources, and that's really what was important. So.
You have time for one more, man? Anyone else? This lady here. We'll stay around anyway afterwards if you want to come up. And if you got to leave, feel free to chatter questions on the session record.
Two questions really, one to follow up on
Sure. Thank you.
the permission set question. Do you know if they're planning on having reporting available for permission sets sometime soon?
Not sure.
Okay.
I haven't heard it mentioned on any roadmap discussions.
And the other question is, you talked a lot about permissions, but one of the things I found in trying to consolidate them was everyone had different page layouts. Did you do page layout analysis in this?
So the tool we built does allow us to go to different things, including page layout. We didn't show it over here, but if you want to just hang around here, we can kind of show you how it works. It's the same concept. Again, the concept is no different. You can slice the information in any way you want that works for you. The key thing is that extract the data, do your analysis outside, however, whatever works for you, and then make the changes and so forth. So, but yeah, any tool, it's just an object, right? So you can run the
Well, it
filters.
just told you if it was different. It didn't actually analyze the difference in the page layout.
Yeah. So yeah, you're right. So
That's the real headache.
yeah, there are always people who still go make the changes. So yeah, we don't have that as a major problem today. I'm sure it's probably show up. So.
All right, everyone. We'll be up here for the next 10, 20 minutes or so, so feel free to come up. Thanks